Just sort of help me out here because the NFL has this. We have training camps, and then guys hold in, they hold out, and we have the Matthew Judon trade, which happened yesterday between the Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I believe he started with a hold in. Then he was withholding his services, but yet was forced to practice. Then it was a distraction. And finally, the Patriots just said, you know what? We're going to trade Matthew Judon to the Atlanta Falcons. The trade goes down, but then I said, there's the next step to it, Andrew. They don't have the contract that he was looking for in New England. When does that come about? What are those discussions like?
Yeah, good to be with you as always, Kirk. There's 3 of these going on in the NFL right now.
Right.
Brandon Ayuk, Hassan Reddick, and Matthew Judon. These are all going on right now. And you mentioned it. When you acquire a player in the last year of his contract, it's important to have a 2-part transaction. 1, the trade compensation going back to the team. 2, a conversation with the agent, negotiation to make sure that player's not coming with only 16 games left on the contract. Let's go to Reddick. Reddick was acquired by the Jets from the Eagles for a 3rd-round pick that could go with a 2nd with performance levels. There was no new contract. We don't know what the discussions were between Hassan Reddick and the New York Jets, but it seems like the Jets feel there was some kind of discussion like, yeah, I'll be fine with the new contract. Come on, at the same contract. Come on in. And from Rick's point of view, well, I need a new contract, and there's no new contract. What we have now is, in the words of the movie Cool Hand Luke, a failure to communicate. There'll be no new contract, and we have a problem with the Jets and Hassan Reddick, who have paid a 3rd-round pick. The exact same thing goes on with Matthew Judon and the Falcons. They acquire a player for a 3rd-round pick, same position, same draft compensation, but no new contract. I would think, Kirk, that the Patriots have learned the lesson from the Jets in their division that they're going to get a new contract. Now, reports are it has not been done, but perhaps this is on the way. But you understand what's going on here. If you're giving up a 3rd-round pick, that's fine for a pass rusher. That's great. But is it only for 16 games? That's not as valuable as giving up a 3rd-round pick for multiple years of performance. So this is really interesting here that these transactions, part 2, have not been done with both Reddick and Judon.
You know, Andrew, I would ask you, what is the conversation like, though, between team, agent, and maybe even player? Because we're talking about guys who are either at that 30-year-old mark, in the case of Judon, 32. What is that number for a player like this? We're talking about some of these guys who had great careers at early part in their 20s, but we know there is a dip and decline in their play. Look, last year, Matthew Judon only had 4 sacks for the New England Patriots. Does that come into a factor of what the contract looks like? And does that keep the dollar amount down? Because the long-term guarantee won't be there.
Yeah, I think it does. But I think more than that, it keeps like you said, the future guarantee down. So a guy like Judon, first of all, the process is Terry Fontenot, the general manager of the Falcons, will call Elliott Wolf of the Patriots, and they'll talk. And they'll say, well, yeah, we want to do something, and we're going to be in this range. But first, I would hope the Falcons have said, first, we want to contact his agent. So let's talk about that. And then we'll revisit the trade terms. Now, when you get into contract discussions for an older player, the issue becomes length, guarantee, and early money up front. So when you look at pass rushers, oh my God, Kirk, these are the 2nd highest paid position in the NFL compared to right behind quarterbacks. They're making 26, 27, 28, 30, $31 million a year for a player like Nick Bosa. So defensive linemen are a premium position. So what are you going to pay? Now, if he was 24 years old, yeah, you're looking at that market, but as 32-year-old looking at a different market. So is it going to be 18 million a year, 20 million a year? Is it going to be a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, 2-year extension? That's what you have to look at with an older player. As I started saying, I hope for the Falcons' sake, this is not something they're starting right now. that this was done during the trade negotiations with the Patriots
Right.
and is almost consummated. Otherwise, they may have a New York Jets Hassan Reddick issue on their hands.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.